Did you know that the majority of people don't ride their bike properly? And it's all has to do with shifting under load. Think of your bicycle's transmission the same as a manual transmission in a car. You have the clutch to release the pressure off of the transmission while you shift the car manually. A bicycle with gears is shifted manually. Of course, there are some bikes that are shifted electronically and stuff nowadays, but the same rule, I'm assuming, is still going to apply, because when you put weight into the pedal, try and hold this all at the same time and put weight into the pedal, this chain stiffens up. Basically turns into like an iron bar. It's going to tell your derailleur to get bent. I'm not going nowhere. Right now, there's no pressure in the pedals. It's all sorts of play. Very open to suggestion from the derailleur on where it should go. But when there's pressure in the pedals, it tightens up. So, the majority of people riding bikes shift under load. What that does is bends this derailleur hanger, because the weight you're putting into the pedals gets transferred to this point during shifting. And this one's huge. It wears out your entire drivetrain quicker. It wears out the rollers in the chain, which then in turn wears out the gears and your chain rings. This bike, for example, to replace the chain, well, okay, $40, I don't know, about $40. Rear gears, and it's going to be usually the smaller ones that wear out, because that's where people tend to ride. But you got to replace them all. $75. Front chain rings get wore out. Oh, I know, there's another $60 per chain ring. And then you need somebody to install it and set it all up. So hundreds of dollars. When you shift your bike under load, it can, no fooling you, make the difference between only getting 200-300 kilometers out of a chain and gears, all the way up to getting around 10,000 kilometers out of your drivetrain. I've seen it. I've seen both examples numerous times. All because the bike was either shifted under load all the time, or when you were shifting, you eased up on the pedals, just keep it rotating. You can't be trying to maintain your momentum. You have to sacrifice momentum during a shift. That's what keeps your chain as malleable as possible for the derailleurs to shift it. It makes a quicker shift. It's not oh my god, now I'm not going to make my shift and I have to get off my bike because I'm on a little hill or something. You should always be in the proper gear at the bottom of the hill before you get to it. It's a bit of a guess. Hopefully you kind of know the hill and know what gear works for you. If you're shifting while going up a hill, it's probably going to shift for you eventually. Hopefully you didn't slow down to the point where you have to get off your bike anyway. But that's only going to happen so many times before it's all wore out. Your derailleur pivots are all loosened up from all the torque on them. Chains all stretched out. Gears are all wore out from your stretched out chain. Eventually it's just going to not work for you. Ease up on the pedals during a shift. It's like a clutch on a car. Keep the pedals moving forward, because the chain has to be moving to make the shift. And it'll save you a lot of money. It'll make a quicker shift, a much more pleasant riding experience. Depending on how, say, expensive your bike is, can determine how soon your chain is going to shift. On the cheapest bikes around, if I use the front chain rings for an example, there will be two places. I could see here's some rivets on the inside. There's going to be some pickups to grab that chain. So there's one. And there's another rivet. There's two. There's some more. So here, this one has 4. On the cheapest bikes, there's 2 places. So there's only 2 opportunities for that chain to actually shift to the gear you want it to get into. And if it's under load, it's going to be, if it's tight, it's going to fight you. And if you have, it might catch and then drop off. Well, now you've missed an entire half of a pedal revolution. And then try again. Oh, I missed again. Ease up on the pedals. It'll shift better. On the more expensive bikes, basically the more money you spend, the more pickups and teeth manipulation there is for shifting all the way around the gear. So it'll shift. If it misses the first one, then the next one will grab it, and away it goes. It's shifted within that much of a pedal revolution instead of that much of a pedal revolution. Please ease up on your pedals during shifting.